Hello everyone, I hope you are doing fine. My name is Anish Ghosh and I welcome you to this channel. In this channel, I talk about everything related to one-year executive MBA programs in India. In last videos, I had talked about my interview experiences at SPJIM or PGPM program and at IIM Kolkata PGPBL program. I'll leave the links for the videos in this description. You can check those videos if you have not checked it already. If you like my content, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. That will give me more motivation to make more such videos and bring more information to your plate. Before directly jumping onto the interview process, let me tell you a brief about IIM Calcutta's MBA EX programs. So IIM Calcutta offers the one-year executive MBA program, which is known as the MBA for executive professionals, and the minimum experience required for this program is 5 years. For IIM Calcutta MBAEX application, you'll have to write 2 essays. The first one is the statement of purpose, and the maximum word limit for this essay is 500 words. And the second essay is the optional essay. The maximum word limit for this essay is 300 words. The optional essay is given for you to highlight some more points in your personal and professional life. My personal recommendation or my personal take on this optional essay is that you should write this essay because this gives you an opportunity to highlight points that will reflect in your application and that will bolster your application. I will make a separate video detailing every point of the application process of IIM Calcutta as well as the other MBA colleges in a separate video series. So please stay tuned to this channel. My interview at IIM Calcutta was held on 7th of September 2024. The interview was held in a 5-star hotel in Bangalore, which is known as the Hotel Monarch Luxor. There were a panel of 3 professors. As usual, I have written all the questions in front of my camera so that I do not miss any question. Let's get started with my interview experience at IIM Calcutta. So as I have mentioned earlier, I was interviewed before a panel of 3 professors. So the professors started asking questions one after another. And so the first professor asked me to give a brief introduction of myself. I was really prepared for this answer, but at the same time I was really nervous because IIM Calcutta was my main target. Although I had thoroughly prepared for the introduction, I forgot some of the lines halfway while giving the introduction. However, I quickly recovered from it and I told the panel everything that was coming to my mind at that point of time. Next question was from my alma mater. Since I was from Jadavpur University, the professor asked a question: who are some of the notable alumni of Jadavpur University who are recently in news? So during that time, Kolkata was witnessing a lot of protests march because of the incident of Abhaya, and few of the notable JU alumni such as Poromroto Bhattacharya, Shostika Mukherjee and Anupam Roy participated in this protest. So I mentioned their names and I also mentioned the situation that Kolkata was going through at that point of time. So the next question the professor asked me was about the refugee struggle of Bangladesh and West Bengal and what are my views on it. I was aware of this question and I told them the history of the refugee struggle between Bangladesh as well as West Bengal in the past. I am a regular newspaper reader and a few days back I read the news that both BSF as well as the Bangladeshi forces were increasing the forces in the border so as to prevent the refugees from entering into India. So I mentioned about that as part of my answer as well. The professor then asked a question what the interim government of Bangladesh can do to prevent this migration. So I mentioned about some of the steps that can be taken by the Bangladeshi government, such as the economic reforms or education, especially among the minority communities, which will uplift the living standards of the minority communities and it will directly prevent them from migrating to a different country like India. I also went on to add about Mohammad Yunus, the new interim government head of Bangladesh, and I mentioned that since he was from an economic background, these kind of economic measures or reforms are expected out of him. But the professor countered me by saying that this will make him a good economist but not a good politician. Then I took another jab at this question and I tried to answer this by giving a mix of economics as well as politics. The professor was not impressed by this question, but he politely asked the rest of the panel to move on with other questions. Then the second professor started asking questions. The very first question that he asked was related to my work experience and what I do at SAP. So I gave them a brief about what I exactly do at SAP. In the answer, I mentioned about my work as a customer support lead at SAP. The professor proceeded to ask a follow-up question to my answer. He asked, On what parameters do I exactly measure the productivity and the efficiency of a resource who work in the customer support team? I was able to give them a brief idea about how I measure productivity in the customer support team at SAP. The professor asked me about my entrepreneurship venture. I told the professor about the rental problems in Bangalore and how I'm trying to solve the problem. The professor then asked a few follow-up questions based on my answer, and I was able to give them a very detailed description of what exactly the problem is and how am I trying to solve the problem. The professor then asked me whether there are any competitors in the market already of this product that I was thinking, and I mentioned about the names of a few competitors and what exactly they were doing. The professors then asked that how am I going to compete with the competitors. Then I mentioned a few shortcomings of my competitors' business policies and how am I trying to solve those shortcomings using my product. After hearing my answer, the professor pointed out that the shortcomings that I had mentioned were only operational and any competitor can bridge it whenever they want. I did not deny the professor's points. Rather, I mentioned to them that I had already mentioned about this product idea to one of my managers who have recently turned into an entrepreneur. And after hearing my product idea, he has told me that I do not understand business. So that is the reason I want to pursue an MBA from IIM Calcutta, as it will help me to bridge the business acumen that I do not have right now, and I can bridge it with my technical expertise, which will enable me to become a future business leader in the IT industry. The professors seemed happy with my answer and they moved on to the next question. Then the third professor started asking questions, and he asked a question which was definitely unanticipated from my side. He asked whether I watch Bengali cinemas or not. I mentioned that I do watch Bengali cinemas. The professor proceeded to ask a question as why do you think the Bengali cinemas are not able to make it to the big stage as other regional cinemas, and what is the main reason behind the downfall of Bengali cinemas. So I mentioned my viewpoints on this answer, and I also mentioned the names of Satyajit Ray and Mrinal Sen, and I also mentioned that few of the good movies that were made in the last decade. And I also mentioned about a few good directors such as Srijit Mukherjee and so on. The professor then asked a cross question that why I did not mention about Rituparno Ghosh. I answered this question by saying that I did not watch any movies of Rituparno Ghosh, hence I did not mention his name. Later on, I realized why these questions were asked to me, as I had mentioned about Parambrata Chatterjee and Anupam Roy and Shwastika Mukherjee earlier in my answer, and coincidentally all of them were from the Bengali movie lines, and Rituparno Ghosh is actually another alumni of Jadavpur University. Then I was asked about my viewpoints for a good movie. I mentioned all the viewpoints that I had in my mind, and I also mentioned about my favorite movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, in the answer that I was giving. So that was all about my interview experience at IIM Calcutta. As you can very well expect, the interview went like a breeze, and I was very hopeful that I'll make it to IIM Calcutta. On 26 September, the results came out and I was waitlisted for this program. And on 17th October, I finally got an admit from IIM Calcutta. That was all about today's video. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me through email or through LinkedIn Connect or through Instagram. As in the previous videos, I'll leave my LinkedIn ID as well as Instagram ID in the description. Do check it out and do reach out to me if you have any questions. As I've mentioned earlier, if you like this content, please do subscribe and like my channel. It will give me motivation to make more such videos in the near future. Thank you everyone for watching, and I appreciate it.